It's another beautiful day out on Cape Breton Island, and I'm down on the beach. The temperature has dropped, but there hasn't been any snow yet, so I'm still able to get down. There's a really nice pile of pebbles right behind me over here. The last 2 times I've been here, I've seriously made some amazing scores, so I'm just super stoked. It's definitely a good sign when these beautiful aged pieces are just sitting on the surface and waiting for us to pick. Oh, here's a nice find right over here. Look at this. It's our first really nice find of the day. It's a beautiful piece of cornflower blue sea glass. It's small, but it's absolutely aged to perfection. Nice little round ball. Okay, I'm almost at the end of the pile here. Oh, look at this one. Do you see it? Look at this. Do you see it? It's hiding right behind the seaweed. It's like a thick piece of aqua. You can see right over here, it's got this air bubble that's exposed. So this kind of tells me that this would be right around the turn of the century or earlier. It's definitely not from a medicine bottle because it's so thick. When I can find a piece of sea glass and it's got air bubbles or an air bubble in it, then I definitely know it's not from something modern like a rum bottle. It's absolutely something older, probably made over 100 years ago. Little aqua here. Oh yeah, look at this. It's got these little swirls on it. This is another marble that has been damaged badly after it fell into the ocean. Almost no doubt it was completely intact when it first went into the sea. And now you can see it's just cut right in half. And then it's missing a piece on both sides over here. It's almost striped like a piece of Murano glass, but I know without a doubt that this was a marble. It's way too rounded right over here to be anything else. Yeah. There's like a huge nugget right down here. Here, check this one. I'll just come in real quick because it's not that special, but it's a huge nugget. Oh, look at this. Look at this one right over here. This is just crazy. Oh my gosh, everybody, I'm coming in again. Yeah. An orange marble. This is just crazy. So it's got some swirls in it. It's got a really interesting pattern. And what's really amazing about it is there's 2 little air bubbles in here. And I was just talking about air bubbles before and how an air bubble is a good indication that a piece of glass is much older, like pre-1930. Normally, when I can say that a marble was made about 90 years ago, I would expect it to actually be a lot smaller and reduced in size. But I've noticed over the last 12 years is every time there's a rainfall, some of these new finds and these new bottles, they just wash out of the shorelines all around me. This marble might have been sitting up top in the dirt for maybe 80 years waiting to fall its way into the ocean. And then with all the rain that's been coming these past few months, it eroded into the ocean and then I found it. I'm going to take some pictures of this now, and then I'm going to get back out to that pile because I'm really starting to score here. This is crazy. I literally just sat down, and there's this massive piece of blue right in front of me. Look at this. It's huge, everybody. You can see how round and how thick it is. I'd have to say this is well over a ½ inch thick. Now, the only unfortunate thing about it is if you look right over here on this side, it's a little bit glassy right over here, you can see, which means that this huge, large piece of cobalt got fractured, and there's another piece of it somewhere out there in the ocean. Who knows if I'm ever going to find the other half of this shard. I'm going to get right back out there because I literally just sat down and I found this crazy piece. And then as soon as I get back out, I see another green right here. Nice little green. Green. Red piece of plastic, definitely not glass. Oh, look at this. It's a heart. It's a black heart. Oh, it's got some writing on the other side. I'm right back in here, right in your face, everybody. I'm here with my new find. So I found this piece right over here, and at first I was like, ooh, it's a ceramic piece with some black slip. If I find a piece of black, I pretty much attribute it to being a 20th century post-automation color, because you don't see too much black ceramics made out here in North America. So I was pretty happy to see the heart, and then I turned it over, and then it says right over here, it says made in China. It's kind of neat because a few videos ago I found that piece that said Japan on it, and now this one over here I found that it says made in China. And there's another beautiful little gem sitting right next to me. Let's get back out here. This is getting too good. Oh, it's a boulder. I'm far, but I'm coming. I'm coming. I got another one now. Check it out. It's a boulder. Look at this piece right over here, everybody. It is bigger than my finger, and I'm over 6 feet tall. It's pressed right up against my thumb, and you can see it's the exact same size of my thumb. It's pretty amazing. I'm the man with the glass fingers. Here's a little piece right over here. And then we got a nice amber brown right over here. Oh, look right down here. It's a marble. Yeah, check it out. It's a tricolored cat's eye. Actually, I think you can call it a quad because it looks like it's got some cobalt blue, a little bit of cornflower blue, the milk glass, and then this bright yellow swirl. It's really tiny, so it's harder to get it in focus, but I got a perfect shot of it right over here. It is just stellar. Oh, I see one right over here. Look at this. It's a piece of cobalt blue. It almost looks like it's a little sailboat. It's a really nicely well-aged piece. I'm at the end of the beach now, everybody. I'm gonna have to turn around and go back this way, but I'm gonna start kicking things up. So we're probably gonna find some more neat stuff underneath the surface. This is the best time to be out. It's low tide right about now. I'm definitely dressed for it today. After the last few times I've been out, I got really cold too fast. So I got a few extra layers of clothing on so I can stay out here as long as the beach lets me. This little green right over here. Pretty tiny. Oh, look at this right over here, everybody. This is in my footprint. I don't know if you can hear, I'm gonna pan out a little bit. I don't know if you can see right over here, but I totally stepped right on this piece on my first pass. I cleaned this piece off because it had a little bit of sand on it. You can see it's a lip from an old manganese bottle. It's wild because most of the manganese pieces I find, I attribute to being from old medicine bottles. And an old medicine bottle typically wouldn't have some sort of a threaded top like this. So the way I'm looking at it is this would have been the bottom right over here. You can kind of see the edge sticking out. If I was to hypothesize on the origins of this, I would have to assume this is actually from an old mason jar that was made with manganese, and it was made before 1913. Oh, look at that right over here. I was just doing a couple of kicks and there's a marble sitting right over here, everybody. Check it out. It's small. It's almost like a little bit of a yellowish gray tinge to it. I almost kicked a bunch of rocks right on top of this thing, and then I noticed it right before. And then I looked up and I could see there's a nice piece right over here. It's just perfectly aged. And there's another one right over here. It's a lot smaller, but I'm gonna take them all. Check it out. It's a piece of security glass. It's got this metal wire that goes through it to add extra security to a building so somebody couldn't just break the window and get in. You know, I used to see these on my school when I was younger. Of course, I'm a pretty old guy. And I think that you could see them on banks and libraries and public buildings. I've actually found some of these in a multiple different patterns and styles, and you can find them in an aqua seafoam like this one over here, or you can find it in a more modern clear glass, which was a little bit easier to see through. This is the most common style that I find out my way with these even squares over here, but I love when I find them and the wire's almost twisted on the inside. It can be really intricate and beautiful. Sometimes I've even found a piece or two of these and all you can see is a metal cross on the inside. It's a perfectly aged gray and it's just sitting here playing hide and seek with all these gray rocks. So hard to find. It's just so nuts. There's so many pieces here right now. We got one here. There's another one right here. Another piece right there. And a tiny one right over there. There's just too many to pick here. It's a finger picking good kind of a day. I'm gonna have to go through all these high piles over here still. We got a lot of sea glass left to find, everybody. Let's keep on going. Little bit of twisted metal right over here. I saw it only because I saw this tiny little cobalt. I've walked by this piece like 10 times today. It's about 15 feet from the low tide mark, and it's just sitting right over here. Look at that, and then even right next to it, a beautiful piece of aqua, and here we have a cat's eye. It's totally warped. All that water started to leave it. You can really see how frosty it is. It's a little bit flat, and it's got some air bubbles in it too, so it's probably an older marble as well. From where my eyes are at, 6 feet above the ground, these were some very difficult pieces to spot. It just goes to show you why it's important to get down on your knees sometimes. Hey, look at this right here. Yeah. This is a soft piece of lavender. Maybe if I go like that, you can see it a little better over here. So you can see it's a piece of lavender, manganese glass, and it's got some bonfire creases to it right over here. And it's a lot thinner. It doesn't look like it's really been compromised that much. So this one over here probably is from an old medicine bottle, like a late 1800s medicine bottle. It's got a little air bubble in it. We can't be sure if this air bubble is here from the manufacturing process or it actually got added as it was in the bonfire. One thing we know for sure is a piece like this is over 100 years old and it's a really good find. Nice little green right here. Hey. Yeah, yeah. Look at this, guys. It's another one. Hopefully the camera's gonna pick this up because sometimes white melt glass marbles are harder to see through a camera lens. But you can see it's got some swirls on it. It's got a little bit of orange. And then over here, it's got some blue and it's got a little bit of green. And right in the center of it, right over here, you can kind of see it. There's an air pocket that got trapped, which tells us that this is another older marble. Like I said, I see that they get eroded out when it's really, really rainy out. This is a really neat little find over here. It's not every day that I find a melt glass marble with these neat little colors on it. I'm really happy the weather's permitting us to come down and get to the beach because there was that period where I couldn't get down at all and I would just walk by every day and see that we were shut out. On a stormy day, the waves can go all the way up and sometimes if they're pushing, it can actually push rocks over the top of the cliff right behind me. I used to come here when I first moved here and I'd have witnessed the storms and all the waves from up top. And then it got really dangerous. One day I started getting hit by these rocks that were like this big. It was unreal. And then after the storm, I could actually see rocks that were like this big, like almost a pound rock. And they were being propelled over the top right over here. So you definitely don't want to come down here on a stormy, rainy day. You got to pick your times. And lately, it's just been really great. Yeah, look at this. Oh, look at this, everybody. It's huge. Okay, I'm coming in. I'm coming in, everybody. Here we go. Okay, so this is what we got over here. We just found this huge shard right now. This is probably the biggest shard of the day. You can see it's the wall of a bottle right over here. Here's the inside. When you look inside of it, you can actually see there's tiny little air pockets that are in here, and that tells us that it was made in the late 1800s to early 1900s. It's got this little line, and that's a mold marking, so this was made in a mold. They probably blew it into a mold, and then they finished off the lip over at top using tools, using a glassmaker's tools. What's really unique about this piece, which is kind of neat, is you can see it's frosty on this side, but then on the inside where the content was, it's actually still a little bit glassy. The ocean's not able to create the patina that we're used to seeing in sea glass on the inside because big rocks like this can't get in there and can't smooth it down. They can only get onto the outside edges. I'm really happy I found this piece over here so I get to share that little bit of knowledge with everybody in case you actually find a piece on your way and you're like, how come it's just so glassy on one side and it's nice and frosty on the other? It's a crazy little multi. Wow, this is like the tiniest little piece here, everyone. Check this out. It's really not that big, so hopefully I can catch it on the camera here. But it's a super tiny little multi. You can see right over here, it's got these different layers. You can see it's got the blue, the white, and then a little bit of melt glass. It's only about like 1/4 of an inch big. But you can really see the layers on it right over here. A piece like this could actually be from an old Tiffany style lampshade. I've actually seen a few pieces of glass from lampshades and they look similar to this one over here. Oh, look at that. There's a nice bean right over here, a perfect shaped bean. Oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this one right over here. It's another marble, everybody. Check it out. I think it's another marble after finding that multi a few minutes ago. I'm not sure. Let's give it a look. Now that I look at it, it's almost like a jadeite melt glass marble. It's got some really intricate swirls to it, a little bit of a design. I know these marbles were all random, but this one really looks like it was done on purpose. I'm not even keeping track anymore. Is this like my third marble or my fourth marble? Well, let's just keep going here. Maybe I'm gonna find another one. It's a piece of lavender and it's got these patterns on it. Once again, it's a piece where you can see on the inside over here, it's a little bit clear and glassy, but then all around it, it's nice and frosty. There's actually a reduction in the pattern as we go up to down, and I don't think that has to do with the way that the glass broke. I actually think that it has to do with the original vessel that this once was. Oh, look at this right over here. This actually could have been on somebody's window. You can see it, it's a piece of privacy glass right over here. It's super thin, but it's also very flat. I've seen people all over the world and they find patterns like this, and it can be a really ornate colors, like really bright, vibrant blues. Out my way, I usually only find them in clear, and I find them in a nice yellow as well. A piece like this actually might have originated before the age of automobiles, so it's a really neat old find. Look at this, it's just sitting right on the surface, and it's absolutely massive, everybody. It's almost at the high tide mark. Oh, it's a piece of bonfire glass. It's got a little bit of a burn mark right over here. This is a very large piece of sea glass compared to what I'm used to recovering. It probably weighs about 2-3 ounces. I know it's not sea glass, but this is a super exciting find for me. Take a look. It's a piece of leather. You can see right over here that these holes were not perforated by a machine. They were perforated by hand. Something like this could actually be like 300 years old. So when I find a little piece like this, it's so exciting. It's a 3-vein cat's eye. It's got the yellow, the red, and just a little hint of white. I am so close to going home. I cannot believe I've dug so many piles, and then I look down and this absolute gem is just sitting right here. Yeah, look at it. It's just crazy. Without a doubt, this is my favorite find of the day. I'm just giddy right now. This piece is just amazing. This is the scene, everybody. There's a beautiful heart rock and a beautiful marble sitting right next to it. It's unbelievable. I cannot believe it's another one that I missed, and I've been here all day. If I hold it like this, it almost looks like it's Snoopy. But you can see this melt glass marble has completely been warped. It's been melted by a bonfire, and then it was sitting at the high tide mark. Oh, I cannot believe I found another one just sitting on the surface. And definitely don't forget the heart rock. Holy cow, everybody, I am totally just flipping out. This is a little statue. I cannot believe I just found this sitting right on top of the shoreline, and I've been sitting here digging all day. Right away, I can say that this is probably a Wade whimsy. So what this is a little statue that was made in a machine, but then they were all hand painted in England by Wade Ceramics. A lot of people in Canada and North America know this because you'd get this in a box of red rose tea. So in every box of red rose tea, you'd get a little statue like this, and it continued for a very long time. There's hundreds of different styles, and there's a huge collector's guild. You can see this one that I found is really worn down. There's a tiny little bit of green on the back of it, and there's a little bit of black in the eyes. But other than that, it's completely wiped clean of all the glaze that was put on this thing originally. I cannot wait to go home and take a look on the internet and see what this thing originally looked like. It's probably been about 5 years since my last Wade whimsy that I found, and it was the hippopotamus. I'm gonna guess that this was originally some sort of a poodle, because you can see right on the bottom right over here, it's got a little bit of fur in there, but the nose is completely worn off. It's pretty amazing, and just this little bit of green is the only bit of slip that remains. This is absolutely off the chart over here, everybody. This makes that marble, even though it's not as pretty as that marble, it is just such a piece of cultural history to find on the beach. I just want to thank everybody again for your love and support, for all the positive encouragement. If you enjoyed this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you could leave a like and even subscribe to my channel. I've got plenty more adventures and plenty more knowledge to come. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Until the next time, everybody, happy hunting. I'll see you again real soon.